how the does the Karl Lagerfeld brand wake up one morning and say, let's do hospitality? Walk me through how that conversation started. Any doubts in the process, especially at the beginning, is this going to be received? Because I would imagine when you guys started it, it wasn't as fashionable, to stay on brand topic, as fashionable to look into other businesses when you first had this conversation. When did you have that first conversation?
Absolutely. Interestingly enough, it was not like this moment where you get up in the morning and say, oh, okay, we do hospitality now. It actually was an evolution. And it goes a bit back to what I said before in terms of the points of interest of Karl himself. Yeah. He was very much interested in architecture. He has put a lot of time, effort, love, passion into making his habitats wonderful places. And it was also a journey through decades, from Louis XIV to Bauhaus to all the different eras. And he has done that with a lot of passion and a lot of love, which then led people that he was friendly with asking him whether he could do the same for them. Like, oh, could you help me to basically create my habitat in that and that city on that and that island, which he did privately. And that then developed also for Karl into some projects in the hospitality area, which was more like, oh, not a branded hotel or a branded residence, but more like, oh, can you creatively help us to design the lobby of the whatever, the place. Yeah. So therefore, it was somehow engraved in what we were doing as a house, respectively, Karl was doing himself. And then the real proper project that was a branded project came along. Still when Karl was alive, it must have been, I would say, in 2016, we have been approached by a developer, a family from Macau that is doing their amazing hotel projects and running amazing hotels. And they were asking us, would Karl be interested to design their new hotel project? It should be a Karl Lagerfeld hotel. And when I discussed it with Karl, he didn't think about, oh, should we do it or shouldn't we do it? He basically came with the answer, said like, oh, Macau has such a rich history. It's so amazing. And this blend with Europe, imagine how we could play that and how we could blend the European influence with the Macau influence and the Chinese and all of that together. I love the idea. So he was looking at it from a creative angle and from a cultural relevance angle and what it meant. And then that was literally the first project that we started. It was the Karl Lagerfeld Hotel in Macau. Karl entirely ideated and designed it. And it opened a few years ago, and it looks amazing. And what you will find with that project, it's very bespoke. It's very much true to the history of the landmark and the country. And I think that makes it special. And from there, a lot of projects did evolve, but always with the same idea of making them really relevant for the people that will be living there, that will be going there, and very much bringing together the culture, the history of the place with the influence and the attributes of the brand as such.
271 rooms, Michelin-starred restaurant with a Michelin chef. I'm going to say, I haven't been, but one of the most spectacular book lounges I have seen in a hot minute in a hotel. And we'll add some footage and some photos to this recording to show the viewers at home. But it looks picturesque, beautiful, the book lounge. I mean, what a place. Spa area, wellness. Walk me through some of the elements that when you do something like that in hospitality as a fashion brand, I would imagine there's a bit more pressure on you to venture out in hospitality, because everyone's going to say, oh, wait a minute. If there is a single piece that doesn't fit in that hotel, they're going to say, well, I would have expected more from Karl Lagerfeld because he's synonymous with, brilliant ideas, very creative design, out of the box thinking. Whereas with all due respect, but if one of the big hotel chains on the planet, if they have a black sheep in their 6,000-7,000 hotels, that, who's really gonna start screaming? Whereas if you who have just started the hospitality venture, if there's a wrong chair in the lobby, there's probably straight away someone's going to take a picture and say, well, this chair's pink, the rest of the hotel's red. How does that work?
Yeah.
How do you think of that, or did you think of that at all in the design process? And how does that hotel then come to life? Because between Karl's ideas and then bringing it into life and turning it into a working hospitality operation, I would imagine there's a small bridge to gap there.
Absolutely. I think to your point, is there a wrong chair or isn't? I think the definition of wrong or right is probably not the right definition. Why? Because Karl has meant and means different things and feelings to different people. Is not a cookie cutter approach. For one group of people, he's the kind of black and white rock star chic. For others, he's the
people who wear sweatpants have lost control.
Yeah,
of their lives,
exactly. For others, he was the witty intellectual with reference to the 300,000 books that he owned. For others, he was the photographer that basically kind of shot photographic artwork better than nobody else. So this is also what we're trying to bring to the projects that we are working with. We have an amazing fundus, if you can say so, of ideas and reference points of Karl. As example, Karl has been working with so many different artists that have been making different interpretations also of him as a persona or of Choupette in a very artistic way. So there is residential projects where this architectural angle finds its place. Imagine if you think about a bespoke residential project where you want to really kind of dial into some areas of interest of Karl's in a very specific way. Imagine like there is 300,000 books in his library. The book library that you were referring to in the Macau hotel is basically referring exactly to the books that he owns or owned. So basically it's not kind of made up some books, it's these books. So if you're saying, I'm into a certain country or whatever, then you will find the books of that country you're interested in that Karl had in his stack, in his library, in the library of the residential project. Or if you're saying, I'm very much into the photography work of Karl in that period, then that is bespoke photograph work that you can find in your residences that nobody else can have because it's the private collection of Karl's.
In the process, it must have helped in the process in some capacity or another, that the partnerships that you as a fashion maison can bring.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for listening. You're hospitality hooked? Then follow us on our social media channels so you don't miss out on any new episodes. Work hard, travel harder.